I just completely screwed that up. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Mallycraft Workshop. Should have another pretty cool video for you guys today. I don't think this one will be too boring. We are gonna go over some of my more anxiety producing projects, or nervousness, if you don't like the A word. That was a horrible blink. Anyway, today we are going through LVLP spray guns. Up until this point, I've been pretty much always nervous of running a spray gun. I've never been a professional painter. I've never been much of a painter at all. Other than typical rattle can paint job or something, that you'd expect out of a mechanic. We're gonna eliminate some fears and hopefully show, some other guys out there that didn't think this was possible, that it in fact is possible. What did I buy? For my particular setup, I have a small pancake compressor. It doesn't put out, huge CFM, nothing like a big, 80 or 90 gallon plus air compressor is gonna do. It's listed on the website for these guns as SCFM. Just in case there's any confusion on it, I'd like to help eliminate that. And immediately you would think that there's a difference between CFM and SCFM. There's not. The difference is that S is just meaning that it's a standard CFM measurement. Industrial compressors that are made for like 100% duty cycle, they give you a CFM rating, and that means that air compressor, no matter what, will always be able to put out that CFM. Home use air compressors are a little bit different. All the components are smaller. They're not made for an industrial setting. They're not made for that 100% duty cycle to just leave on 7 days a week, 365 days a year. All that S means is it's a standard rating. That means that compressor at a multitude of temperatures and elevations and humidity levels should be able to put out that CFM, just to make sure that they're getting you what you need. That's all. When you see that SCFM, it's the same thing. It just means that it's probably a home use air compressor. Anyway, that was a very long explanation to get to a very short answer. Sorry. Okay, back to the LVLP spray gun. Just got off of the Jeff Bezos Megastore. You can also find these super cool disposable paint cups. And what you get in the kit is this super neat reusable holder that gives you all your graduated measurements on the side. And then you have the disposable bag that goes inside. And the bag comes with a lid that has a filter screen on it. If you're one of those guys that forgets to filter his paint before he puts it in the cup, these are a big saver for you. To be able to adapt these disposable cups to your gun, you will need an adapter. I'm gonna let you guys figure that out because there's a couple different ones out there. You just have to make sure that whatever type gun you have. Wow, I just completely screwed that up. Anyway, we're gonna try this again. You need to find the correct adapter for these guys. Here's the trick about getting these cups to work on your gun. You will need an adapter for them because the gun kit doesn't come with it. Some may. There might be some brands out there that offer the adapter to come with the disposable cups. That's up to you. You guys gotta do the research. It's not that hard. Just make sure that these match up with the numbers on your gun. Okay, on to bigger and better things. I'm sorry, I cheated. I assembled this thing once already, and I already did a first coat on the paddleboard with Halcyon. That's what we're gonna be spraying today, Halcyon Clear Gloss. It works really good with these guns. It's made for HVLP guns. You can thin it with just regular water. So if you want to, I recommend like distilled water, just so you're not getting any contaminants. If you're not using distilled water, you're using faucet water. Maybe you want to filter it. I don't know. I forget what size micron filter this is, but it might be good enough, may not. I don't know. It just depends on your situation. Distilled water is always the best. Do not thin the Halcyon with anything other than water. It does specify that on the package. Back to the gun. We're gonna do the assembly. Like I said, I've already done this, so I'm kind of familiar with it, but seeing as how I've only done it once, I'm by no means a master of this, and I still don't really know what I'm doing, but we're working through it, and we're gonna make this work. We're gonna paint some shit today, by the way. It's gonna be pretty fun. Right here, this is the, I guess this is like the pattern nozzle. This is the actual drip nozzle that screws into the gun. But you can see right here on those nozzles, they have numbers printed on them. And the larger the number goes, like 1.3, 1.5, 1.7, the larger the number, the heavier fluid that you could spray out of these. I don't really like thinning the Halcyon that much because it will dull down your gloss finish. So I'm gonna try the larger nozzle today and see if we can get a good spray pattern with that. If we can, probably just gonna stick with the larger nozzle and not thin down the Halcyon anymore. I don't like taking away the gloss, man. I want this to look like a mirror when we're done, you know? Let's get started. We're gonna put, I'm just gonna call this the primary or drip nozzle, I guess. We're gonna put that in the gun. It screws into this brass fitting right here. And they give you this cool little, you know, cheapy tool that works really well to assemble your gun with. Don't get crazy with it. Everything is hand tight. You want this thing to last a long time. If you bum the threads up, you might as well throw it away and buy a new gun. That's basically how it's gonna go. So just, you know, take it easy on your tools. We have that nozzle in. I'm not sure on the correct number of steps on how to install these. So if you feel like making a comment and making a fool out of me, please do, because I could use the interaction. It helps with the channel. Okay, let's get this lined up. Okay, we got the needle in there. I'm guessing that's called the needle valve. It looks like a needle. The spring goes in behind the needle. We'll press that in all the way. Hopefully you caught that. Spring goes in after the needle. All that needle does is press up against that primary tip and allows fluid to come out or not. The cap goes on right after the spring. We're just gonna run that in all the way so we have an initial setting on that. Again, don't force any of these. When it stops, finger tight, that's it. This is, I'm guessing, what do we do? I think this is air pressure adjustment, and this is your fan, what do they call that? I guess it's your media output adjustment, whatever you want to call it. I'm not great with words today. It's Friday, happy to be off work. Okay, we've got the gun assembled to that point. I'm gonna go ahead and put the nozzle on. Spray nozzle, pattern nozzle, I don't know. Somebody will correct me, I'm sure. If not, my painter will correct me when I get to work on Monday. He always scolds me if I screw up, and I appreciate it. Let's see. It's a little backwards on these. I think if you want a vertical up and down spray pattern, you put these two ears horizontal, and if you want a horizontal spray pattern, you put these two ears vertical. I think. We'll find out here in a second. That's pretty much it for the assembly. The other thing the gun will come with is this little moisture trap. Go ahead and install that. There's no way to get away from moisture in your system, so to keep from spraying extra water on your project, you want that guy. This will be a first for me, is attaching my new reservoir quick connect to the gun. I haven't done that step yet, so let's go ahead and get this thing filled up with our spray media, and we'll get going. Where did I put that stuff at? Number one contender for hide and seek with yourself. I'll find it. It's over here somewhere. Okay. I'm not trying to do brand selling or anything, but that's the Halcyon that we're going to use. You can see clear gloss, spar varnish. It's got good UV protectant in it, so if you're going to have anything that you're sealing with epoxy or penetrating epoxy or anything like that, it does not have UV protectant in it, and if it's going to be outside, you need this stuff, or a type of this stuff. You just want to put some kind of UV protected varnish on top of your product so the sun doesn't yellow it and ruin all that hard work that you just put into it. That would suck. Let's go ahead and get this mixed up. Feels like a bag of sand. Oh. I'll probably get in trouble for that. And of course I don't have my pocket chisel on me right now. Damn it. Okay, we're good. Let's go ahead, put the disposable bag inside your reusable container. Put our Halcyon in there. This is the nice thing about these. You can put a whole bag in your spray cup. You don't have to if you don't want to, hold that weight while you're spraying. Use a little bit. But since these things do have a lid that seals, you can put all of your product in here. And when you're done spraying, put that little black lid back on right here. And you're good to go. You can throw this on the shelf, and as long as, get the pressure off right here, as long as you don't let this freeze, it's probably good on the shelf for quite a while. Okay, that's it right there. Boom, done. Ready to connect to the gun. Oh, I forgot to tell you, right here, the gun also comes with this little pre-filter. I would use that, clean it out every time you use it. This is gonna save you, There could have been something that flew in here, or there might be something in the tip right here, blah, blah, blah. That'll just keep you from big screw-ups and nasty looking paint jobs. I'm guessing this just goes on and twists to connect, I think. Yeah, it's just gonna press on there, press down, and then twist it. It's gonna lock it on. I've got to go do some pre-sanding on our board really quick. I'm not gonna include that in the video. Sanding is boring as shit. You guys don't wanna watch me sand for 30 minutes. After I get that done, I'll be right back, and we're gonna get this thing sprayed right now, all right? Screw ups included, we're gonna do it the whole way, all right? I probably forgot to add this in really quick before we go spray. We're ready now, but I told you guys I like to be a thrifty shopper every once in a while. And if you have your own wood shop, or you're into the woodworking hobby, where you spray anything, where you're dealing with crap in the air, that you could possibly breathe in, you know how important it is to have a respirator or some kind of mask to keep particulates, from being inhaled. So, in my thriftiness, if you look around, I'm sure you'll probably be able to find the same deal. Most people are familiar with the 3M brand. They make PAPRs. What are they called? Pressurized air respirators or whatever. But anyway, this thing sucks in air through a HEPA filter. And this has got the purple filter in it, which means this is good for biological matter, and it's the good filter. This one will filter out everything. You can fart in the room and nobody will smell it. Or at least you won't smell it. Everybody else probably will. 3M makes several different kind of PAPRs. They have the clear grinding hood, they have a welding hood, and then they have the soft hood that is for painters. So all this stuff right here is completely replaceable. And then, once you have the actual PAPR, the filter, you're good to go. Here's the bad part. 3M charges an arm and a leg for their PAPRs because, it's life-saving equipment. And there's always a price tag that goes with that, sadly. They should be, pretty easy to get, but they're not. Hence the thriftiness. If you look on Jeff Bezos' Megastore every once in a while, you can find these things very, very discounted. This is about a $1,700 or $1,800 kit normally for the soft mask and the filter, belt, module, whatever you want to call it. It's a powered filter. I found this set on sale because the date on the filter is past due, which means that they can't sell you an expired filter, even though it's really not expired. For what we're using, it's going to be just fine. Since it was expired, this thing was almost, it was more than 50% off. I got the kit for $500. It's still a lot of money, but when it comes to breathing in clean air, it isn't a lot of money. Even $1,700 or $1,800 for the brand new kit isn't that bad of a deal when we're talking about saving your lungs permanently. And everything is on sale somewhere out there, so with a little bit of digging, you should be able to find it. I'll show you how to hook that up. It's very easy. But first, I want to finally connect this thing to my gun. We're going to do that right now. This is the first time I've ever done this part, so Wow, that's it. Okay, press down, twist on, and she's ready to spray. That's it. I can't believe it. That's cool. That's gonna be really cool. No wonder painters like these so much. Now that I've done that, I don't have anywhere to put it, and it's gonna keep falling over. Now it's not gonna want to come off easily. That's cool. Let me find something to lean this up against, and I'll assemble the mask. Twist lock fittings on the papper. There we go. Hold the button down once to turn it on. You'll be able to hear the fan turn on. The buttons will start flashing through their checks or whatever they're doing. Boom. There we go. You can see the lights on here. They're all lit up. One light is fan speed 1. 2 lights is fan speed 2. I'm gonna keep it on that because I'm a sweaty kind of guy, and when I put these masks on, I start dripping. Let's go ahead and get this hood put on. And we're gonna go spray, guys. I'm scared as hell right now. You can see it's pressurized right there. You just want to make sure that you can feel the air coming in. Make sure you can breathe good, and we're good to spray. Your lungs are totally protected at this point. All of your air is coming in through this, going up the hose, into the hood. We're good, baby. Oh, this is scary. At this point, I was way too far into the process to admit defeat. My impatience to get some varnish on the board was keeping me from realizing the problems I was having with that small compressor, hence the foreshadowing message earlier in the video. The spray pattern was as wide as I thought it should be, but the amount of varnish coming out was not at all what I needed for a smooth finish. It was spraying like a very fine mist, and you want a fine mist, just more varnish than air. It was like it was almost atomizing instead of laying down a solid coat. You can't hear it because of fancy editing software, but in the background, that little pancake kept tripping the breaker. I thought I was having issues with too small of a breaker, but in reality, the pancake was working way too hard to keep up with the constant demand of the gun, and it was overheating. I kept having to stop and go reset the breaker like every 5 minutes, and then I would wait for a bit, the compressor would catch up, and then I would continue spraying. And this was getting more and more frustrating, but like I said, I was determined to get at least one good coat applied before I could let it begin curing. You'll see right here the spray that I'm talking about. There's just barely anything coming out of that.
I kept messing with the gun settings until I had something that resembled how it is supposed to spray, and just finished up with that. Luckily, even a broken clock is right twice a day. So I got it to lay down nice and smooth, but only to the detriment of my slowly dying pancake. Rest in peace, little guy. I'm sorry for being stupid. Anyhow, come to find out with spray guns, even though they say low volume, low pressure, they indeed need a large volume of air that can be restricted with the pressure regulator to provide a constant and even supply. Afterwards, I did some more research and found out I needed to be closer to 4 CFM output on the compressor instead of the max of 2.6 CFM that my little pancake boss stitch could put out. My issue had me running out of the needed pressure quickly and then settling down to about 20 psi lower than what the gun required. I told you, I'm not a painter. I'm barely a woodworker. I've spent my whole life professionally working in industrial mechanic shops where the output of the shock compressor was enough to fill a 100-gallon tank and still run 6 to 12 heavy-duty impacts on a daily basis. That doesn't include everything else in a large shop that runs off air. It's crazy. So yeah, I never put a second thought to what may be going on there. It's like the sunlight. It just keeps shining every day. It's always there, always working. I just came to expect it. To say this was a learning experience may be too generous, but a learning experience it became. So what did I do? Well, I hopped in the car, went to the big orange store with my big orange credit card in hand, skipped down to the air maker aisle, and quickly found out that my hopes and dreams of buying another fancy new air squisher were quickly squished when I saw the price tags. Immediately, I went into panic mode because I had told the wife that this wouldn't be a huge purchase and I would get out of the store probably for under $200. Boy, was I lying. After a few minutes of reading the specs, I settled on a 20-gallon compressor that could provide a max of 200 psi and would steadily provide a volume of 4.1 CFM at 90 psi. My spray gun requires a max of 58 psi at 3.5 to 4.5 CFM. This was the one. So I threw it on a flat roller and walked back to the car with my tail between my legs and those big doe eyes to deliver the damage figures to the boss. I'm guessing my only savior was that since I'm trying to eventually support us by doing this, is why she didn't melt off my face and only winced at the financial figures slightly. And it was off to Starbucks, and we quickly forgot about the amount of money and interest that I just gave the big orange financial store. Back at the shop, I opened this thing like it was second Christmas, because new tools. I got it hooked up to my airlines, turned it on. It quickly filled up, and I was ready at this point to go ahead and spray another coat, since I was still in the window of another application before I had to let it fully cure, and then off to, scuff sand it again. I set the compressor regulator at 100 psi, and then I set my gun regulator to a max of 55, just under the max of the gun's thirsty needs. And immediately I saw the difference in the spray pattern. Now, instead of spraying a nice pattern for 5 seconds and then slowly going down to something resembling blowing water mist out of the end of a chewed up McDonald's straw, it was now constantly spraying the pattern that I set. And this allowed me to quickly adjust to what looked like much better laydown and not puddling or leaving bare spots in the spray path. actually start to see some gleam on the board now where the finish is finally making it shine like it should. I'm also starting to feel a little bit better inside, you know, because it's very hard seeing a $4,000 project that you're working on quickly turn into crap. The reflection is so nice to see on that. I was having a hard time seeing the reflection of that freshly applied varnish through the lens in my papper hood. So a quick check with a flashlight to make sure we had a nice, even, shiny finish. And this thing is ready to let cure.
We got that coat done. I think we managed to save it. We'll see. Remember, like I said, this thing needs to be cleaned after every use. You're gonna let it sit for an hour. I know it's inconvenient, but if you want every coat to be consistent, well, first off, you gotta learn how to use the damn thing. Then you gotta keep it clean. There's that little filter again I was talking about. I'm gonna go run some water through this thing. I'll come back and brush all those off. It's nerve-wracking sometimes. Put that much work into something, and then, you know, I mean, you literally have the chance to screw it up every new step that you're doing. So it's a process. I think that last coat is going to be good. We have been sitting there for an hour, and it seems to be okay-ish. Like I said, if this screws up, all I gotta do is let it sit overnight. God almighty, and sand it off again. I really don't hope I have to, but that's why we do this over and over again, so we get good at it. Here we go. Oh, here's the other thing. I was saying that I wanted to do 10 coats on this. As thick as this is spraying them, I seriously doubt I'm gonna have to go 10 coats. This and one more on the bottom is probably gonna be enough, and then I'm gonna let it sit for 24 hours. We'll flip it, do the same thing to the top. So yeah, cross your fingers for me, please. I really want this to go right. I don't know if you've noticed, but I have a lot of work into this board at this point, and ruining this thing would really make me sad. So here we go.
Another issue I ran into, enter second foreshadowing warning, was leaving deep puddles in the finish. As I was spraying, I would notice that some spots just didn't have the depth that others did and looked more dull, since the varnish wasn't completely covering that area. If you've ever seen the side of a car on a bright day after using an automatic car wash and noticed dull spots in the middle of the doors, you know what I was seeing. So I'd go back over those spots and try to even it up. Well, this would leave a thicker puddle, and when I'd come back after 2 hours to spray another coat over the top, that uncured varnish down below would now be stuck underneath a new coat of varnish, which would cure and not allow the uncured varnish underneath to finish curing. You see the rippling on the board surface. Well, that's what it caused. It's ugly, but I haven't ruined my $4,000 board yet. If this happened to you, just let it cure for 2 to 3 days, and you can come back with 220 grit and sand off the uneven parts, rescuff the whole thing, and reapply that coat. It takes a long time. It sucks doing it twice, but we're going for great. Not good enough.
So anyway, guys, had to do a little back to the drawing board after that last spray. You saw the results. It looked like crap. Looked like a duck crapped and walked backwards through it. This is what I, used to get told by old foremen. So I did a little digging. Did a little research. Adjusted my Halcyon. I'm diluting that to 20% now to the max allowable. It will take away from the gloss, but you can polish this stuff when it's done back to a glass finish. So that's not really going to affect it as bad as I thought it was going to. As for the gun, I was using the largest nozzle that came with the kit. Just a mistake on my part. You can spray Halcyon thick. I was spraying it too thick, and it was just leaving that rippled surface on the board. So I went back down to the 1.3 nozzle, the smallest one that came with it, and included with the orifice and the needle. Seems to go on a lot better, getting a lot smoother coat. So we're gonna go ahead and spray the top of this thing, and hopefully I don't embarrass myself one more time, and we come out with a super cool looking product. Here goes nothing.
Those 5 black circles right there are the board tie downs in the board vent. You really do not want to spray varnish inside those because it would be a pain in the ass to clean out. So I'm just going to put some painter's tape over the top and save myself from something else to clean up later. Since you waited patiently all that time with me, this is, I guess, as close as I'm going to get to a money shot right now. So let's end things on a positive note and enjoy that wonderful looking reflection right there. Thanks, everybody.